I think we've learned a lot from them. I think our employees have learned a lot from them. I think we have a lot more to learn from them.
What makes Marc and Craig very special to corporate audiences is their message of me to we.
Working with Marc and Craig and the Free the Children organization is a significant statement on the part of the corporate leadership, not only to the employees, but also ultimately to the customers.
Just recently, I was on a flight traveling from Beijing back to Toronto. This man sat next to me on the plane and he held out his hand and introduced himself and said that he's in business. He said he was in real estate development and import-export. And he helped start up a couple tech companies. This man was a born entrepreneur is how he described himself. And he looked at me and said, "So, what do you do?" I was back at him and I said, "I'm in the non-profit." He said he'd read all the books, Good to Great, Built to Last. He had gone to all the workshops and the seminars, studied every company, a type of industry, except he had never heard of anything like the non-profit world. And in the end, we ended up chatting about how some of the ideas from the non-profit world could apply to the for-profit world in his business. And he took this deep breath and he said, "That's the most interesting business model I ever heard." Not specifically Free the Children, but generally how the non-profit sector runs.
They have spoken to groups that range anywhere from 3,000 to 9,000 people. They've shared the stage with such incredible luminaries as President Clinton, Desmond Tutu, Michael Douglas, in front of crowds that are particularly business-orientated.
Personally, I find them quite inspiring. Personally, I learn a lot from them. Personally, I think they've got great perspective and maturity.
What they did share, which was really important, was corporate social responsibility and the ability for these companies to assess their responsibility in the world.
When you build trust into the way of working with your employees and the external world, you effectively transform employees into believers, and you transform your customers into advocates.
And the way they articulated these ideas was very cohesive and to the point, and not only inspirational, but practical.
How are you going to keep your workforce engaged, retained, active, and motivated? It all comes down to what kind of meaning and what kind of purpose can you provide them. So you have all these incredibly intelligent people with MBAs and law degrees who are applying for these ridiculously low salaries, and they want these jobs more than ever. And so what does that mean? That means the nonprofit sector might actually have something to teach the for-profit sector. So if you have most meaning in your job, by and large, statistics show you are most satisfied with your job. You're likely to stay in that job, you'll be more productive in the job, and you'll be happier in the job. And what does that mean for you as captains of industry? That means, again, you're going to have more active employees, less stress-related activities, lower health expenses, and it all relates.
It's everybody's job to get out there and get engaged. It's not just the job of HR. It's not just the job of the people who are part of the recruitment process. It's everybody, because it has to happen every single day. You just don't build culture in one day in the recruitment process. You build culture every single day. And by building culture every single day, you'll have higher retention, you'll have more motivated workforce, and you'll have better returns.
I am so impressed with what you've achieved, what you've done, and the recognition you've received on a worldwide basis.
What a story, what a role model, what a hero. Craig, you truly are an inspiration.